A very good evening. You're watching News9 with me, Akshita. Well, first up, it's a matter of shame for the managing director of NWKRTC as court officials laid siege to his official vehicle in Hubli. The MD's vehicle was seized after NWKRTC failed to adhere to a 2012 court order and compensate the family of an accident victim. Well, it's been 3 years and Umesh Kusugal failed to go ahead and pay the amount required to the victim of an accident that took place in 2011. My colleague Anil joins us with more information. Anil, over to you. Take us through what we know.
Indeed, Akshita, this is a very interesting story. Now, in the year 2011, a person by name Rajesh Saab in a small village called Tarlaghatta in Kundugol Taluk was run over by a NWKRTC bus. And he was killed on the spot. And when the police registered a complaint, and the case was taken to the court, in 2012 the court had ordered NWKRTC to compensate the family. They had asked the transport department to pay 7.88 lakh rupees as compensation. But then it's been almost 3 years now, and NWKRTC has failed to compensate the family. So, in wake of this, today the third civil court in Hubli has directed the officials to go ahead and seize the MD's vehicle, since the person responsible for the whole affair is the managing director of the transport corporation. Now, he could have compensated the family, but it's been 3 years and the compensation has not been given to the family. So now this is a really shameful incident, because the MD's vehicle has been seized by the court officials, Akshita.
Right, Anil, any word on the amount that's expected to be paid in by Umesh Kusugal to the victims of that particular accident?
The matter was taken to the court in the year 2011, and the court passed a directive to NWKRTC in 2012, asking them to pay nearly 8 lakh rupees in compensation. Now, 8 lakh rupees is indeed a big amount for the bereaved family, but the transport department hasn't taken cognizance of this. They have not bothered to look into the matter. And 2 years later, the family is still waiting for the compensation. Now, the matter was taken to the court again, and that's when the civil court gave the order, and the officials have seized the MD's car, Akshita.
Right, Anil, also, of course, if you could take us through exactly what was said in the court. Did Umesh Kusugal finally go ahead and promise that he will prepay that amount?
At the moment, we don't have a word on that, Akshita. Probably now the MD's the reaction would be that of, he would probably be very angry over the incident. He probably, the seizing of his car would not have gone down too well with him. But probably he will approach the authorities and promise them that he would compensate the bereaved family at the earliest and ask them to release his car, Akshita.
Right, Anil, thank you so much for joining us with all that information. But of course, a big shame there for the NWKRTC managing chief, in fact, with Umesh Kusugal's car being seized by a court because he had failed to go ahead and pay a remuneration that he was expected to victims of a 2011 accident. And moving on, a Chinese patrol ship has detected a pulse signal in the Indian Ocean, raising hope that the Malaysian Boeing 777, missing for 5 weeks, has finally been found. The news was announced by China's state news agencies Xinhua. Vessels from China, Australia and Britain have been using sophisticated listening equipment to track down the signal. The battery life on the airliner's black box was expected to run out next Monday. According to latest information, Chinese patrol ship Haixun-1 searching for the missing Malaysian passenger jet MH370 detected a pulse signal with a frequency of 37.5 kHz per second in southern Indian Ocean waters. A black box detector deployed by the Haixun-01 picked up on the signal at around 25 degrees south latitude and 101 degrees east longitude. It is yet to be established whether it is related to the missing jet. But finally, it looks like a concrete lead into exactly what could have happened to the MH370. As of now, Chinese news agency Xinhua is the only one stating that the Chinese ship has gone ahead and detected the black box. Sophisticated technology in place there to go ahead and find the black box. Of course, the signal of the black box of the MH370 is expected to wear out by next Monday. But the ship is now headed in the general direction that it got the pulse from to recover the black box and find out if it is indeed that of the missing MH370 plane. Well, last year, a BBMP contractor had committed suicide as the BBMP had allegedly not cleared his bills. But that has not changed the situation in the Palike. The ugly altercation between BBMP and contractor still continues. BBMP contractors today garrowed the Commissioner's office demanding that the Palike pay them their dues. These dues run up to over 1,800 crore rupees. Of course, the contractors once again raising their voices over the fact that there are huge pending amounts to them. The Palike, of course, has been trying to do all they can. This particular issue has been raging on for quite some time now, but saying enough is enough, the contractors today went ahead and stormed into the Commissioner's office, met with him, and the Commissioner went on to tell us that he did manage to appease the lot and is already taking steps to ensure that he can go ahead and sort their problem out and ensure that the contractors do not continue their protests against the Palike. Well, let's listen into what BBMP Commissioner Lakshmi Narayana had to tell us earlier in the day.
This is actually a matter which has been there for the last 2-3 years. We had dues with contractors, and we have been clearing, and last year also we cleared nearly 1,200 crores of bills. And we have a lot of ongoing work happening, and all these bills also come, pending bills to be paid to the contractors. This month, I'm planning to release another 2 months of payment to the contractors. Subsequently, we'll mobilize some money and see that at least 5-6 months of bills are cleared over a period of 3 to 4 months. And we will try to minimize the. There is always a problem for the clearing of old bills in most of the cases where works have been done and large number of works have been taken up. But we still have control, and I'll see that the problem is resolved very soon. This month I'm clearing 2 months, but subsequently we'll clear a few more months.
Right.
And the process is on, because we don't pay the whole thing. The money doesn't come to BBMP in 1 month. Over a period of 1 year we'll get the money, and whatever money comes we'll pay it off. This allegation is far from truth, because when there is no money, I don't know how they can allege that the money is being demanded. As soon as the money comes, within 24 hours, the money entirely released to contractors. There is no truth in the allegation. I don't agree with that. Yeah, they came and spoke to me, and I told them very clearly. I gave them sufficient time. They spent a lot of time with me, and I've convinced them, and they are convinced. And they've gone back saying that they'll receive the money as and when BJP takes the money.
Well, just hours after taking a dirty jibe at Sonia Gandhi, Ramdas has backtracked on his words. S.A. Ramdas had dragged Sonia Gandhi's father into the fight, saying that he had leaked intelligence information to other countries. But just hours after that, he made a complete U-turn, saying that he was only quoting an Italian article. This is what he had said earlier. Well, S.A. Ramdas making very controversial statement there. But after looking at the kind of reactions that are poured in, with several people going ahead and slamming him for the same, S.A. Ramdas now going ahead and retracting, saying quite simply that it wasn't something that he voiced, but that he was merely reading out an Italian article. And big news coming in. Siddaramaiah rakes up the Prema Leela episode to counter S.A. Ramdas. He's gone on to state Ramdas has no right to talk about Sonia Gandhi. Remember, a woman had made allegations against him. Let him clear that first, is what Siddaramaiah had to say. And of course, as expected, the Congress latching on to what S.A. Ramdas had to say. Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister, going ahead and pulling up Ramdas's colourful past with regard to the fact that his alleged wife, Premalata, came out in public and accused him of harassment, and he went on to attempt suicide. And now Siddaramaiah raking up that issue and saying that he has absolutely no right to talk about Sonia Gandhi, and that he should go ahead and clear up the issue of someone else making allegations against him first before he goes ahead and addresses these issues. So the Congress already going ahead and commenting on this particular case, even as S.A. Ramdas has retracted his statement, saying quite clearly that he only quoted an article.